this is Felix Alvarez of class 2019. I'm here today with the representatives of Chemeketa Community College, Linfield College, and Portland State University to talk about the process of applying to college. Thank you for being here today. We have a few questions for you to help students like myself learn about life after MHS. First off, please tell us about yourselves, your title, and how you started working at your school. At your school.
Okay. Sure. All right, I'm Seeborg with Portland State, and I've been with PSU about 2.5 years. Prior to doing this, I was a high school counselor, and so did that for about 7 years. And the part that I loved about my job was getting to help students with the college going process, so it just seemed like a natural fit for me to come to the other side of the desk.
And my name's Garcia, and I work for both OSU and Chemeketa Community College here in Yamhill County. And I coordinate a program called Juntos with local schools, in middle schools and high schools. And I think what I like the most about my job is getting to work with students and their parents on how the education system works and how they can navigate that to reach their goals.
And I'm Matt Dressel, Assistant Director of Admission at Linfield College. This is my 7th year working at Linfield. What drew me to Linfield? I have a long family history at Linfield. It's been a part of our family for many, many decades, and it just seemed like the natural fit and the right place to be.
All right, first question. Jose, who should apply to a community college?
All right, I think that for community colleges, because they offer so many different programs, there's a wide variety of people who can benefit. But I think primarily if you're a student who is looking into doing a short career, like a technical career program, it could be like a dental hygiene assistant. There's the hemodialysis programs going into mechanics. There's a wide variety of short career technical skills programs. And then there's also 2-year associate's degree programs that Chemeketa and other community colleges can offer. Or if you're thinking maybe you want to save some money and start locally at a community college, you could also go to community college and then transfer after 2 years for a bachelor's degree and also get an associate's transfer degree. So there's a wide variety of programs that students can take advantage of at community colleges.
Thank you. Matt, Sarah, who should apply to a four-year college?
I'm gonna let you start this.
Okay. There's a college fit for every person, and that fit is different for every single person. You look at a school like Portland State, that's quite a bit bigger. Many thousands of students versus a school like Linfield, it has 1,600 students. It's a different experience. Whatever that student's looking to do, if they're looking to get prepared to move on to a graduate program or a doctoral program, a 4-year college is a great place for that. It really just depends on what the student's looking for. Oftentimes at a smaller school like a Linfield, a student may want to be a student athlete, but they're not, the Division I type athlete, or they want to just be in a small atmosphere where they're getting one-on-one attention a lot more than they would maybe at a bigger school. It really just depends on what the student's looking for and what their best fit for them is.
And then I would also add to that, at a 4-year institution, both public and private, there are certain admissions requirements that students need to meet, and so academically students do need to have a level of preparedness to be able to jump right into the rigors that are offered at a 4-year institution. And then I think too, along with the environment, just starting at a 4-year is an option for students who plan to stay at the same place for 4 years. And so being able to really build that community of friends and those networks, and being able to get to know professors and being able to stay with some of them for the duration of your college experience is another thing to consider when you're exploring your options.
All right, this goes for all 3 of you guys. Can dreamers go to college?
Dreamers or DACA participants? Yeah. Any person who is part of the DACA program is eligible to go to community college, and I know OSU also accepts students. There's sometimes limitations with types of financial aid, resources that they have access to, but they are definitely eligible for admission and to attend the schools.
And absolutely. So we don't require a social security number as part of the application process. And at the state schools, there's a program called Tuition Equity, which allows students to qualify to pay in-state tuition. And so that's something that students who can qualify should definitely look into. There's a few different criteria that students need to meet in order to qualify for that program, but we want to provide students the opportunity to pay that in-state tuition and not feel like they're paying international student tuition when they're residents of Oregon.
And at private institutions, like we offer the full range of academic scholarships to those students, as well as grants offered by the school, and any that would be offered by the state would also be eligible to be used at a private institution. So.
All right. Jose, what are the general admission requirements for a community college?
So at a community college, in contrast to four-year universities, you don't necessarily have to have an SAT score. There's no GPA requirement for students. There's placement tests that need to be taken by students, but there's nothing to say you can't attend the school based on your prior academic records. So if you want to go to college and let's say maybe it's too difficult to be admitted into a four-year institution because of your record in high school, community college could be like a clean slate for you. If you want to start over and start fresh, this could be a good option for you as a student, where you can go into a community college, start taking classes, and really try harder to get those grades up. And if you intend to get a four-year degree, that could get you in the door at a four-year institution.
All right. What is a placement exam?
A placement exam, well, forgot the name already. Juliana, can you help me with that one? What's AccuPlacer is what Chemeketa is using. I'm not completely sure if all our community colleges are using the same one, but the test that you take at the high school, what is that one called? Your placement, your Smarter Balance. A lot of community colleges now are also accepting your scores from Smarter Balance to help place you in a writing course. So these are used to place you in a certain level for writing, math, and I believe science as well.
And oftentimes four-year colleges will use placement exams as well for certain subjects, like language and math.
All right. Can other test scores be used instead of the placement exam?
In certain cases, SATs or ACT scores, the AccuPlacer test that you could take at Chemeketa, or the Smarter Balance tests.
All right. Matt and Sarah, what are the general admission requirements for a four-year college?
So at Portland State, our admissions requirements are a 3.0 cumulative high school GPA and Cs or better in English, math, science, social studies, and 2 years of the same foreign language. And math does need to be through the Algebra 2 level. And you'll see a lot of similarities with the other 4 years here in the state. So the big thing is Cs or better in those core academic classes. And for students who may be close to meeting that, but maybe you're had a D somewhere along the way in one of those classes, or your GPA is just below that 3.0, we're happy to work with you. So it's not a make or break if you don't meet the exact admissions requirements.
In terms of private schools, you're going to find different levels of requirements depending upon the school. So you're going to have your very, very selective schools like your Harvards and your Stanfords, where pretty much if you have to have a 4.0 and be the perfect kind of student and everything falls into place to be admitted, to schools that are a little bit less selective in the private school range. In terms of Linfield, we don't have set requirements per se. A student doesn't have to have a 3.0 GPA or higher to be admitted, or even, some students think that at a private school you have to have, a 3.5 or higher, or if I don't have a 3.8, I'm not going to get admitted. That's not necessarily the case. It's going to vary school to school in the private realm, in the private school realm. So your best bet is to work with your admission professionals like us, the admission counselors, as well as the folks in the College and Career Center, to really find the best fit for you when you're looking at applying to schools. They'll have a pretty good idea of what those schools will accept and what they won't. You know, it's just going to vary and depend. You know, at a school like Linfield, we not to make this too long-winded, but we do true holistic. We look through every single piece of paper that we get, and it's not paper anymore, but dating myself a little bit there, but we look through every single thing that we get from that student to determine whether that student is admissible and ready to be successful at Linfield. As I'm sure other four-year schools, that's kind of what the brass tacks, that's what it gets down to, is can this student come to this school and be successful? That's really what we're looking for at the end of the day.
Okay. This goes for all three of you guys. Do colleges offer scholarships like you guys?
Yeah, community colleges offer scholarships. I know Chemeketa has the Chemeketa Foundation scholarships, which is a pool of scholarships for different audiences. So there's just a variety of types of scholarships that students can have access to. And the way they apply for those is there's a general application. Students answer 3 essay questions, and then those are used to filter students into their eligible scholarships to be considered. And then there's also the Chemeketa Scholars Scholarship, which requires a 3.5 GPA or higher that students can apply for, and that could cover 2 years of their tuition.
So we also have a general scholarship, and so it's one application, but students are considered for a variety of different scholarships, and so we're looking at a variety of different criteria. So some of them are merit-based, so looking at grades and academics. Other is need-based, so based on your family's financial situation. We're also looking at extracurricular involvement, your career plans, and what sort of steps you've taken to help yourself be prepared in that career field, whether it's volunteering or types of classes that you've taken. And then at PSU, we also have our 4 years free program, which covers tuition for eligible students. And so that one requires that students are eligible for a Pell Grant based on information you provided in the FAFSA, and that you have at least a 3.4 high school GPA. And then we also have a similar program for transfer students. So if students are coming to PSU as a transfer student who qualify for a Pell Grant and have at least a 2.5 college GPA, we would cover tuition for them as well.
So at private schools, most of the scholarship money up front is going to be based on academics. So at Linfield, we use a student's GPA and their score on the SAT or the ACT to determine those merit-based scholarships. And they're typically a wide range. Like at Linfield, it's from $13,000 a year to $24,500 per year. At the private schools, you're going to see scholarships are probably going to be a little bit higher. Because that kind of goes, higher scholarships go with higher cost, typically, and so that's what you're going to see. And that's, for the most part, all the schools are going to be, it's going to be based, their criteria may vary for what they base that scholarship off of. You know, some schools will just use GPA because they're test optional, but, you know, for the most part, it's going to be some form of academics that are going to determine that scholarship amount. So,
thank you. Matt, Sarah, do 4-year schools accept college credit earned in high school?
We absolutely do. So any AP or IB credits earned or dual college credit, as long as it's at the college level. So a Math 95 class, for example, wouldn't count, but anything higher than that would count. So what we need to see is a student's official college transcript in addition to their high school transcript, or if credits are coming from, you're in AP school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're earning credits through AP, we would need to see those scores coming from the College Board.
Private schools, for the most part, I think it's a misconception. Students think that, oh, you're a private school, you're not going to take my Chemeketa credits that I earned in high school. That's a very big misconception. Of course, it's going to vary school to school what they'll take and how they'll take it. So you need to check again with your admission professionals within the school to see. Like at Linfield, all of the credits that are earned through either Western Oregon or Chemeketa that you're earning here in the high school will transfer. How they transfer, again, is going to vary from school to school, but you will get credit towards your Linfield degree with those credits. Same with AP scores. We use a 4 or a 5. We'll get college credit. But yes.
For Matt and Sarah, what are a few differences between public and private colleges?
I think initially one of the biggest ones is size. With the public universities, I mean, here in Oregon, we do, at PSU, we're one of the larger ones, but we do have some smaller ones. But even our smaller public universities are going to be larger than many of the private universities. And just the number of programs that are offered can vary a bit as well. So it's important for a student to just figure out what's the best fit for you. Because I think there's one right fit for students. And that's going to be up to the student to determine.
Yeah. Like one big difference between a school like Portland State and Linfield is that at Linfield you can't get anything beyond a bachelor's. You can't get a master's or a PhD at Linfield. You can only get bachelor's degrees. So your 4-year degree, we send students on to you guys, that sort of thing. So that's another difference that you might find. We're one of the few that's undergraduate only in the state, but it is another difference.
This goes for all three. How and when should students start preparing for college?
The minute you step into high school.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, everything you do from 9th grade on is now under a microscope that colleges are looking at. That's every class you take, every disciplinary violation that you receive. Pretty much anything and everything that you do starting high school is now on display. Take it as a clean slate. Maybe middle school wasn't the best for you, but you're starting over in high school, and now's your time to shine so that colleges can really see who you are.
And yeah, go ahead.
And I think just taking advantage of the variety of classes that are offered in high school throughout. Instead of taking an open period or a free period, if there's a class that's offered that maybe you know nothing about, take advantage of it. That might be your true calling, and this is a great opportunity to really explore your options to help you figure out which college may be a good fit because of the types of programs that they offer.
And I would say that it's never too early to start, but there's also, I want to make sure that students understand it's never too late either. Mm-hmm. If you are perhaps in your junior year or even your senior year, and all of a sudden you didn't think you were going to go to college, and now you're thinking, actually I might want to go, it's not too late. So if you didn't take all the right steps, or perhaps you didn't do all the right things, you're not best set to go to college. That doesn't mean it's impossible for you, and there is a lot of help at your school. There's the College and Career Center, your counselors. You can always come to Chemeketa and talk to some of our advisors there, or a community college. There are options, and so I would also like for students to know that if you're thinking about going to college and you weren't before, you should start there. As soon as you decide you want to go, start there and talk to someone who can help.
What other advice do you have for students to go to college?
Let's see.
Try to visit as many colleges as possible, and you have a great setup here where a number of colleges come and visit here at McMinnville, and so visit with the college counselors when we're down here. That's why we're here, is just to help you in that path. And then if you're able to come visit different colleges, over the summer is a great time, just so you're not missing school. Many colleges have set days for visitations, and so those are great to take advantage of if your school is organizing field trips. Try to be aware of those, and so just really take advantage of getting to learn about as many colleges as possible.
I kind of second that. Use your resources. There's lots of them out there, whether that be the college and career readiness courses that are offered here, or this room that we're in and the people that work in it. The College and Career Center obviously is a huge resource. Again, admission professionals, do research. Every college has a website. Look for the majors that you're interested in. And know that it's okay to not know what you're interested in studying. You got to find your path. Those sorts of things. I can't stress those enough.
And I'd say I find a lot of students sometimes feel like they don't know what they want to do, and so that way, that makes them feel like they don't know where they should start. And so I would second also the research part. And if you ever get to do job shadows or meet people in different career fields, start thinking, is this something I'd like to do? Is it something I feel like I could do? Or how, or even just start asking, how do you get to that point if you find something that you like, and then work backwards from there to see where you should start. I think that really helps students find a path. And your school here at McMinnville High School has a lot of options, so there's a lot of career pathways that you could start exploring here as well.
All right, Matt, Sarah, Jose, again, thank you so much for being here today, answering all our questions. That's all for today, Grizzlies, and remember, it's never too early or too late to have a plan for life after MHS.